Hello, and welcome to the Discovery Channel, with me, your host, Sir David Attenblyat. And today, on Scav Watch, we're going to be following in the footsteps of one Boris Varfel, a lonely Scav that can be found in the region of Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is indeed his natural habitat, and in this documentary, we are going to be following the footsteps of his journey through the harsh terrain and witnessing his sheer will to survive. Now, Boris carries a very light load. This means he can be quick on his feet if there's any apex predators lurking about. Now, as you can see here, we've spawned in and we've found a mate. Sadly, it is not currently mating season for the Scav. And as cold as the winters get in Tarkov, it's still very lonely. It also doesn't help that the only woman in the Tarkov region is a chubby lesbian sex offender, conveniently named the Rapist. Now here we're witnessing our Scav search in desperation through the leftovers of what the PMCs have left for him, in the hopes of finding any item that'll keep his generator alive in the hideout through the cold winter. However, having been picked dry, there's nothing left but a manual and some duct tape. Seeing a mating nest in the corner of the room, the Scav decides to try his luck with the Scav mating call. However, no success. This is due to the mating season being currently over, and the Scav population being 99.9% male. Suffering from a deep depression, he decides to go and drown his sorrows outside with a bottle of vodka. As I said, the Scav population is 99.9% male, which means if you're not into that weird kinky shit, then the only option left is to jack off to some weird pixelated bikini photos of women. Moving on from here, our Scav has come across another house. This one seems to be untouched, filled with high-value loot. This brings motivation to our Scav in such difficult times. Although our partner wasn't interested in mating, he might still be interested in sticking together, as that improves the chances of survivability. And now, having attained all this high-tier loot, our Scav's butt is looking all the tastier. Regrouping with his Scav friend, he continues to loot. Sifting through all sorts of junk, he is desperate in an attempt to find any loot he can. More vodka is a sign of good things. While attempting to embark on a further adventure, someone sneaks up behind him. As we hear shots of a battle situation escalating, it seems our Scav friend has dealt with the situation. Now on high alert as the predator stalks his prey, our Scav opts to go for the wide flank, trying to avoid an untimely death. After assessing the situation, it seems that our Scav mate has come out victorious. The predator has indeed become the prey. So with that, our Scav takes one final look to make sure everything's clear, and then gives him the swift "fuck you, bitch," and proceeds to steal all the loot. With his Scav mate covering his ass, he swiftly loots as fast as he possibly can. Tasty vodka. As you can see, with no hesitation, he starts sifting through the sack of another man, looking for any items he may find that could be beneficial for his future endeavours. Making sure his vodka's stored in a cool, dry place for later, he proceeds to steal the man's clothes while the body's still warm. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Like a vulture picking the flesh off a carcass, our Scav will indeed take absolutely everything he can, trying his best to min-max that high-value loot. After prying the headphones off the dead body's cold dead ears, he will soon continue on his adventure through the Lighthouse, although he will indeed have to hurry as the wind is starting to pick up. After thanking his mate, he then makes his way further through the map into the unknown. As he progresses, he comes across another Scav. This Scav, however, is not his mate. That means also it is not his friend. This means that our Scav has to prove his dominance with a battle. Signalling the start of battle, he then engages the opponent. opting to go for the legs to take his opponent out and disable him as best he can. Having won the duel and established his dominance, once again he looks to pry anything he can out of this man's cold dead hands. Noticing the bloodied cowboy hat, he opts to take the loot, improving his dank drip. With an upgrade on space in the rig section, he can now take a lot more out of the raid. While looting, he hears two other scavs in a duel to the death. In a state of panic, he fires. Knowing his clip is now empty though, the only option is to retreat. Once again doing a tactical flank, he tries to find another angle. One wrong move could lead to his timely demise. Using the terrain to his advantage, the scav decides to get a nice position, covering all exits. However, the enemy seems to have disengaged. Today, there will be no victor. Both scavs decide to flee from the scene, showing zero dominance. This is the desperation of survival. As he fights the harsh winds of Lighthouse, he comes across a military base. Our scav decides to take whatever he can from the leftovers of the military base. Looking in every single box, he finds a high-value item. Overcome with joy from the discovery of such a high-value item, he decides to progress further through the map. Hearing shots in the distance, in a state of panic, he decides to flee. Alas, the greed of loot overcomes him and he decides to stay a bit longer. After finding shelter from the cold winds, he decides to look around for more tasty loot, discovering in the darkest of areas some of the most valuable of items. Feeling more safe in his current shelter, he decides to stick around and look for more valuable loot. While looking, he comes across a small video game. Overcome with joy, once again he makes room. With the risk factor rising, the longer he sticks around, and the cold winter of Tarkov slowly creeping through the map, our scav decides enough is enough and it's time to go. After looting one more single room, he makes his way towards the extract. With the chances of success slimming by the second, he hears shots in the distance, leading him to panic. With no shelter or cover from the storm or the bullets, he's going to just have to run for it. Dreaming of that last can of Tushonka in his fridge, he gives it everything he's got, in the hopes that the rogue, the ultimate apex predator, is no longer lurking. Now, on the final stretch, checking the rooftops, everything seems to be safe. Getting so close now, he can almost smell the extraction. All he's got left is to pray and hope that he survives. Making his way down the final stretch of road, desperately clinging on to what stamina he has left. Mere seconds in the way of safety, but it seems the apex predator is indeed currently distracted somewhere else. And with that, our scav takes up a defensive position and then waits for extraction, to black out and to never be seen again. And that, my friends, is the documentary of Boris Varfel, Scav, Loner, Survivor. Up next, Liad Grills, Born Survivor. Can he survive in the dangerous woods of Tarkov? Stay tuned to find out.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Appreciate that so much. If you've got any questions about anything, then please comment and hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 500 subscribers. We've almost done it. What? No way. So yeah, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as there will be plenty more to come. And with that, I hope you guys have a nice day and peace out.